Hey, what is going on, guys? Donovan here. In today's video, I'm going to be making a follow-up to a video that I made about a year ago, or at least a couple of videos where I thought that the lifters in my 2016 Charger RT with the Hemi 5.7 were failing and eating up the camshaft. So, a while back, I posted a video where you could hear this ticking sound coming from the motor. Now that ticking sound wasn't entirely loud, and it only happened at certain RPMs. At some RPMs it seemed to actually go away, and because of that I was leaning more towards an exhaust leak. In fact, when I took the car to the Dodge dealership, the tech there said that he thought it was an exhaust leak as well. They're shorties. I didn't mess with the cats or anything.
Yeah, no, because they do have an exhaust leak.
Yeah, it's an exhaust leak.
You could hear an exhaust leak right when you first started it up.
You could?
Yeah.
And that's like for sure an exhaust leak and not the...
Yeah, well, what I heard,
You could hear an exhaust leak, yeah.
Okay.
You know, so now whether if it has an exhaust leak and something else, I don't know.
Okay.
But we could definitely, when you first started it up, you could hear an exhaust leak.
Sounded like a playing card in a flight spoke or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely heard that.
Okay.
Nothing else really as you were kind of giving it a little bit of throttle, just normal, normal noise. But yeah, definitely has an exhaust leak.
So basically at that time I had shorty headers on the car which were aftermarket. So a couple months back I removed those shorty headers and put long tubes on the car, and when we did the long tubes, my dad and I put it on the lift ourselves and put all new gaskets, new Mopar gaskets, and did all the work ourselves. And since it was on a lift, it was much easier to get a good torque down on some of those exhaust manifold bolts. When the heads were bare and we didn't have any headers bolted to it, we noticed that there was a ton of leaking spots where there was carbon buildup on the actual heads. It was very indicative of an exhaust leak there as well. When we bolted up the headers and I fired up the car, that sound was no longer there. And as you guys can suspect, if it was a lifter issue, the sound would have persisted, but it didn't. So if you're following the channel, you'll know that I recently did a cam swap on this car. I got rid of the 4-cylinder mode, and I got all new Hellcat. There's no such thing as Hellcat lifters, but they're all non-MDS lifters. So in front of me I have all of my stock lifters and my stock camshaft. So I want to point a couple things out on these lifters. So the ones with these holes in them, these are the MDS lifters. So these are the ones that collapse, and this is the cylinder that turns off when your car goes into 4-cylinder mode. And I want to mention, you'll see there are 8 of these total, 2 per cylinder. And I want to mention that none of them are seized, or none of the rollers are seized, so they all roll perfectly. And none of them have any abnormal wear marks. If you check the non-MDS lifters as well, these ones don't have that hole in them. These don't have any abnormal wear marks either. Some of them have like one little particle streak on them, but that's usually something actually getting in between them, normally during installation or something. I've seen that on multiple things, but all the rollers roll perfectly. There's no resistance or anything. And if you look at the actual camshaft itself, none of the lobes are worn down at all. Some of them look like they're getting wear, but if you get it at the right angle, you'll see that there's nothing abnormal going on here. Now, this car had 20,000 miles on it. It would sit a couple months at a time, and I would fire it up, so there would be times when oil wasn't at the top of the motor, and still, you can see that there's nothing really abnormal going on with this camshaft. Everything actually looks perfect. The things that rest on the bearings look fine, and all of the lobes look normal. So that leads me to the conclusion that the issues that I was hearing on my car were an exhaust leak. If you guys are experiencing a similar sound, the first thing I would do is replace the exhaust manifold gaskets and get all new bolts for your exhaust manifolds. They're prone to breaking on the 5.7 for whatever reason, and that ticking noise that you get from it at partial throttle can drive you crazy. It's very loud, you can hear it perfectly in the cabin, and it does leave like that carbon residue in other parts of your engine bay. So with that being said, I just wanted to update you guys on what exactly was going on, create a follow-up to those couple of videos in the last year. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.